What's going on YouTube? Bandit here, back again with another Diablo 3 video. Welcome back. This week we will be covering the items that drop, the legendary items that drop in your Act 2 bounty caches. We've got 4 items that we will be covering today, all of them doing some pretty interesting things. So without further ado, let's get right into it and talk about the legendary items that you can pick up from your Act 2 bounty caches. First up, we have the shield Coven's Criterion. This shield allows the user to take 45% to 60% less damage from blocked attacks. There isn't a lot that can be tested or noted with this build, as it's pretty straightforward. The shield is mostly used by Crusaders and maybe at times by other melee classes such as Monk and Barbarian, though it is extremely rare. This shield rolls with increased chance to block all resistances and vitality, which will make this an excellent defensive shield for tank builds and defensive players. It doesn't always roll with the main stat, however some players may opt to trade out a different property in favor of strength or another main stat or crit hit chance. Overall, this is a decent shield, although most players are going to use shields with other different special abilities if they are using a shield. Also, don't forget that you can go ahead and slap this shield on your Templar follower if you have no other place to put it. And as far as the shield appearance goes, I really kind of like the way this shield looks. It kind of matches some of the other items that you could find in your Act 2 cache. I like the evil garden gnome look that it has to it. It just reminds me of something that a necromancer, an evil wizard, or something may keep in their evil garden in their castle. Up next, we have the Gloves of Worship. With these gloves, shrine effects last for 10 minutes. I remember getting these gloves and being super excited, thinking, hell yeah! I cannot wait to run around with a conduit ability for 10 minutes, and I swore I would wear these gloves all the time. That is until I realized that it is a conduit pylon, and that there are a handful of other really good pylons that wouldn't benefit from these gloves. I've since been hanging on to them just in case I ever need 10 minutes worth of experience and gold find. So with these gloves, I'll just go over what shrines actually benefit from wearing them and what doesn't. The shrines that the gloves will affect are the Enlightened Shrine, the Frenzied Shrine, the Blessed Shrine, the Fortune Shrine, the Empowered Shrine, and the Fleeting Shrine. There are other things that look like shrines known as pylons if you are new to the game and you aren't familiar with it. And those pylons that the gloves will not affect are going to be the Power Pylon, the Conduit Pylon, the Channeling Pylon, the Shield Pylon, and the Speed Pylon. And as you can see, these pylons are clearly better than the shrines, and after my initial disappointment, I can understand why they only work with the shrines. So if you are a new player and you are watching this video, just keep that in mind with these gloves. Not all the shrines' effects are horrible though, and they can be beneficial, especially your frenzied and blessed shrines and empowered shrines as well, which will grant you abilities that make your build and rifting a bit more efficient for a little bit longer. If you remove these gloves and replace them with another, you will lose the 10-minute benefit from the shrine, so keep that in mind as well if you're trying to be sneaky. Usually, though, you will want to opt for some other gloves that either complete your set bonuses or benefit another skill greatly. These gloves will roll with your main stat, crit hit damage, and life per hit, which most people will usually roll into crit hit chance, as well as one random primary affix. Alright, next up we have the Cloak of Deception. With this chest piece equipped, enemy missiles will sometimes pass through you harmlessly, and this chest can only be equipped by a Demon Hunter character. Now this would be something worth using a lot if maybe it rolled with a percent chance, maybe like 20 to 40, or something similar so you could farm one with a better chance. I'm not a huge fan of undefined, sometimes, and unspecified chance gear. I wasn't able to find an exact percent chance of missiles passing through you anywhere on the web, but I gave it a shot with my Demon Hunter, and it was really inconsistent. I noticed that 3-4 of the arrows or the spears would hit you, and then maybe one would pass through, and then maybe another 5 or 6 would hit you, and then 2 or 3 would pass through, then 1 would hit you, then 2 would pass through. It was just very inconsistent, nothing that I could really put a percent chance on myself. But I would say that they would be most beneficial when you get the large mobs of the arrow shooters or the fireball tossers, but overall, not effective enough to be worn all the time in place of other gear, especially for the Demon Hunter when you're more than likely going to need a Cinder Coat or a Marauder's chest piece in place of this. You know, it's just not for me. or even most players for the fact that the chance is too small and it's not reliable enough to make sacrificing your other gear worth it. But this chest piece will usually roll with dexterity, armor, and 2 other random magic affixes. Lastly, we have the illusory boots. These are probably the best piece of gear that you can find in your Act 2 cache. With these boots, you will be able to move unhindered through enemies as well, since it doesn't mention it on the piece of gear itself. It also allows you to move unhindered through enemy wallers, the walls that the elites and shoot up on you that can really make you have a difficult time while you're rifting. These are primarily used for players who opt to use a different skill in place of another escape skill like Spirit Walk, Teleport, or Vault. And I find it pretty frustrating in those times when you get backed into a corner and trapped and can't escape due to enemy density and wallers. So with these boots equipped, you can easily just walk through the chaos. Try to position yourself better to keep on beasting on the enemies and keep yourself alive. Now, while you are able to pass through wallers and other enemies unhindered, it will not protect you from damage being dished out by the enemy's attacks or any elemental damage, but you will be able to move along and pass them quickly. They will also not pass through regular dungeon walls, destructible items, or ledges. These boots will roll with your main stat, movement speed increase, and a few other skill bonuses appropriate to your character. These boots are very straightforward as well, and have a simple legendary fix that can go a very long way in helping you to get out of trouble. Definitely an item worth holding on to if you pick up a pair in your Act 2 cache. Alright guys, that's it. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and perhaps learned something that you may not have known before, feel free to hit that like button. It helps out my videos a ton. Also, please feel free to subscribe to keep up to date on all future Diablo 3 build videos, gear guides, and updates, as I will be putting them out as often as I can. Next week, in the Gear Guide series, we'll be tackling the Act 3 legendary drops, so be on the lookout for that. And also, if you have any builds that you are using with any of the gear mentioned in this video that you've just been having fun with, or that you think work well with any of these pieces of gear, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I look forward to hearing from you. As always, guys, until next time, y'all stay beastin'. Peace out.